Okay, so the new boa is here, and I'm going to show you how I set up a quarantine. So here's the snake room. Let's go to the bedroom. And boom. So this is where the new boa is going to be located. I know it's, not a very far distance, but yeah, that's gonna have to work because that's what I got. I don't have a big warehouse or a separate building that I can quarantine my animals in, so this will have to do. This is what you're gonna need for a quarantine or a grow out setup. I like to keep my boas for the first 6 months to a year in one of these. It's good for people that don't have racks, or you haven't bought your finished enclosure, your 4 foot or 6 foot enclosure yet. So this is perfect for your 6 month to 1 year old boas. Some might even last a little longer in here. It just depends on how they grow. They're just like everything else, depending on genetics. They may grow quickly, they may grow more slowly than others. So what you'll need, it's real simple. Obviously, you need a water dish. Doesn't really matter, what kind of water dish, but you need a water dish. You need a hide. All right, these are great. They're like $7 or $8. You need a hide. You need substrate. Quarantine, you should really use paper towels or some sort of paper. You want to be able to see how the snake's going to the bathroom, how often the snake's going to the bathroom, if it's solid, if it's runny, if it's a weird color, if it's regurging, and if you have natural substrate or aspen or cocoa or whatever that might hide or cover up some of its bathroom pee and poo, and you want to be able to see that. You got to be able to look at it and tell if it's healthy or not. So yeah, paper towels are great for grow outs and for your quarantine setups. Next, hand sanitizer. And to add to that, gloves. If you're working with a quarantine animal, you need to sanitize, and you should probably wear gloves. Normally I only wear gloves when I'm cleaning, but in this case with a quarantine animal, you want to make sure your hands are clean and sterilized before you walk back into your snake room and touch anything in there, because you never know what this animal may have, which is why you want to quarantine for a minimum 3, some say 6 months. Others will keep them separated for a year. But all right, we'll keep going. The next thing you'll need, this will make your life easy. Right here, get you a pencil solder. They're like $10 at Walmart. You plug it in, pop, 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 pop. You burn all your holes. Now you got a bunch of nice uniform air holes, and you didn't crack your plastic like you would if you tried to do it with a drill. All right, so you got your air holes in your tub. Obviously, you need a tub. These are like not even like $2 or $3 at Walmart. Boom, it locks. They can't get out. I haven't had an animal get out yet, knock on wood. But I mean, you don't really need a coffee table to put it on. I'm just doing that to keep it off the ground. If you are going to put it on something solid, make sure that you have one end kind of propped up. Put something under there so you have ventilation, which is why I used that wire rack shelf. That was the best as far as for ventilation and not letting that heat mat get too hot. So just make sure if you're going to put your heat mat on this side, put something on this side to kind of prop it up just a little bit so you have some type of ventilation going underneath. Next, you have to have a thermostat and some type of heat element. And then you should have a heat mat that covers at least 1/3 of your tub. I do go smaller sometimes, but it just depends on how hot the room is. And this isn't my normal snake room, which my snake room is a little hotter than the rest of the house. So since this room is going to be a little cooler, I'm going to go with a bigger heat mat. But yeah, you need a heat mat and you need a thermostat. This is just a simple on-off thermostat. Remember, this is not a permanent enclosure. This is a 6 months to a year, no more than a year and a half deal. This is all this is this animal's in quarantine. This animal's growing up. It's not ready for its big enclosure yet. You can go ahead and put it in its big enclosure. If you only have like one snake in your house, you don't need to quarantine. Go ahead and put it in its big enclosure as long as there's no way of escape out of that enclosure. Some of these bigger closures that I have, I wouldn't put a 6-month-old boa in because they have little cracks and crevices that they can get out of. This has worked great for me. You can do whatever you want. It's your money. It's your boas. I'm just showing you a simple and cheap way. And when I say cheap, I don't mean it in like a he's taking shortcuts kind of deal. Just, it's a better alternative to go ahead and buying a $400 cage that you don't need yet. Save your money. You get this, save your money, then you can buy that really nice cage or enclosure with the really nice heat panel and lights and all that other good stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna get the animal in there and I'm gonna show you how I set it up. So now that we got the boa out of the box and in the house and all that good stuff, what we do is I like to soak them. I like to soak them in clean water first. The reason you do clean water first is in case they're dehydrated, which in this case she's not. But the clean water, she'll drink the clean water first. Let her soak for about an hour or so. She'll get her fill. And then after that, I'll add the Dawn dish soap. What Dawn dish soap does, if for whatever reason there are any mites, which I don't see any, but just as a preventative, so you don't have to do any crazy things down the line, I'll let her soak in the Dawn dish solution maybe 30 minutes to an hour. It's not going to take that long. Like, it's just a few drops of Dawn. And then, you know, if she peed on herself in the bag while traveling or anything like that. So we got the water. It's a little cold. There we go. So right at the heat pad, it's around 84. So she'll be fine. It's not too hot, not too cold. She's only going to be in here for an hour. The heat pad's going to warm it up, keep it warm. And then, yeah, so we'll go ahead and get her in there. Like I said, we'll let her soak for a little bit. Let her get her fill of water. And then once she's had enough water, add the Dawn dish soap. Let her soak in that for a little bit, and then we'll take this. This is actually her tub, her grow out tub, and then we'll take all this and move it into the bedroom and get her set up for quarantine. I'll go ahead and show you what all that's gonna take to get her set up for that. Well, something else soaking does is it helps release any bowel movements. So I guess we'll have to get her some new water after this. But yeah, we'll get her some new water. She's been soaking for over an hour. Get her some new water and we'll put a little Dawn, let her soak in that for about 30 minutes, and then we'll get her set up. Alright, got her some fresh water. Boom, Dawn dishwashing soap. Just the regular, non-scented. It cleans ducks. It's good for animals. It's totally safe. Just boom, that's about all you need. And then just get in there and this also works with dogs. If you have a flea issue, bathe your dogs in Dawn dish soap and like let them kind of saturate and soak in it, and it'll basically smother any fleas that are on your dog. So this is basically the same exact thing that I'm about to do with her. Like I said, she doesn't have any mites. It's just a preventative that I like to do. I've never had mites. That's me knocking on wood. I don't want them, so I'm going to prevent it. That's just how I like to handle it. So you guys can do what you want. It's your boas, it's your collection, but that's how I roll. So I'm gonna get this, make sure it's cooled down. It's a little hotter water. Yeah, see, it's still a little too warm. So give it a few minutes and I'm gonna put her back in and let her soak for about a half hour, maybe an hour. So I got the enclosure set up, got paper towels down, like I said, so I can see anything. I can see when she goes to the bathroom. I can make sure everything's solid like it needs to be. Nothing wrong in her urine or anything like that. She's going regularly. Just like people, your bowel movements and everything else can tell you a lot about your health. Got the thermostat set. I know that says 108, but this is why we use a temperature gun. So that's a little cold. There we go. So right there's the hot spot. And then 85, 70. So 90 hot spot, about 70. So we'll have to dial that in too. 70's too cold, so I'll have to bump the air up in the house a little bit, which is fine. It's winter time's coming, so it'll probably be a little hotter in the house anyway. This, if we were in the snake room, this would be 78, just because of how hot it is in there with all the other cages. But since she's in quarantine, she can't go in there. So yeah, hot spot's good, right on 90. That's where you want it. So now that the hot spot is good, that means give her her hide. I already sprayed this down so it's wet to hold humidity, and there she is. So she's got a nice big water dish. She's got her hide, thermostat, heat red, hand sanitizer for me. So anytime I touch her and I want to go to the snake room, I'm going to have to sanitize. And really, I just need to not mess with her. Once the lid goes on, she's probably not going to be handled for, you know, the rest of the week. Let her de-stress, kind of acclimate to being here, calm down. Try to feed her in a week or so. And yeah, just kind of let her hang out in here for the next 6 months to a year or whatever. No big rush putting her in there with the rest of everybody. But I don't know if I mentioned this, but when you do pop these holes with your solder, make sure you do that outside. Don't breathe burning plastic fumes. I would hope that would be common sense, but I wasn't sure if I mentioned that or not. And that's basically how you set up a quarantine tub, a grow out tub. Real easy. Let's say she could be in here for the next year, no problem. And then we'll get her a nice big cage, big 4-foot cage or a 6-foot freedom breeder to hang out in. Alright guys, let me see if I can get it to focus on her one more last time. Alright, that's it. See you guys later.